Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, the title of my speech is The Story. We are living in a world full of stories. A story about our first blind date, a story about how your father met your mother, and a repeated story of grandmas about your father when he was a boy. Or a story about Kim Yona, right? Kim Yona's story, how she could be the Olympic gold medalist. In fact, I think it is safe to say that there is no place in the world where no story is told. We are surrounded by stories. Today, I want to talk about 3 types of stories that people often tell. First type is fun stories, stories that entertain us. A story can do wonders in our lives. In a humdrum and ordinary routine of our lives, a story can entertain our minds. We can engage fun stories, and we can involve in this plots and lots of interesting happenings in the story, and stories refresh our minds and relieve our stress from time to time. Well, you might know the main character from the story called Beauty and the Beast. The story itself is very interesting, of course. Well, it is about a beautiful lady in a small town falling in love with a beast. How can that happen in real life? But it is possible in a story, right? And not only that, the story endears the main character Belle to us by describing her as a girl, a lot of curiosity, who are bored with the ordinary humdrum life of a small town. Actually, she sings this song. A town is a quiet village, every day just like one before. There's no change. So, you know what she does in the story? She reads stories. She reads stories and she entertains her mind. And she imagines some of the words that she cannot even imagine through the books she borrows at a bookstore. Well, now let's go to the second type of story. Stories that give lessons. Well, some of the stories that we hear are intentionally designed to give lessons. Of course, those lessons are hidden throughout the story. Let me take a very simple example of this. A story about 5 little monkeys. There are 5 little monkeys and they're jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. And Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, no more monkeys jumping on the bed. Well, is it a story? Yes, it is. It has all 3 components a story should have. Characters, 5 little monkeys. And setting on the bed. And event. They fell off one by one from the bed and they bumped their head. And, well, what kind of lesson can you learn from this story? Lesson number 1, don't jump on the bed. Number 2, there is a lesson of the concept of subtraction. Okay, so 5 monkeys and the 1 fell down and there are 4 left on the bed. And 4 minus 1 is 3 and 3 minus 1 is 2 and so on. And also, it can teach kids how to count down from 5 to 1. So there is kind of an intentional lesson that is in the story. Third type of story is a story very, very inspirational. There are stories that inspire us because there are stories about real people like you and me. Kim Yona's story is inspiring to us because she got over all the obstacles and adversaries of her life with constant effort and bravery and perseverance. And there is a man that I want to introduce today, and his story is really, really inspires me. Well, Ni Buichichi, he was born without arms and legs. But, believe it or not, he enjoys his life more than we do. He loves his life, and he thinks that his life is a blessing. How inspirational is this story? Well, believe it or not, whether you aware it or not, we are making the story every day. The moment that you are born in the world, the story begins. And even at this moment, we are making a story. And how the story goes depends on you. You are the only protagonist in the story. Well, I hope that your story, whatever it is, the story is filled with lots of fun and good lessons and great inspiration to the people who would listen to the story later. Well, maybe there might be people in the future like your sons or daughters, grandchildren and great-grandchildren who get to listen to your story. And to them, be the story that will bring great lessons, inspiration, and fun. Thank you.